Going on, guys? Orange Forum coming at you guys with another late video. We got the Detroit Lions at the Chicago Bears. The preview coming up. The 4-7 Lions visiting the Chicago Bears at 5-6. This is the new Darrell Bevell team right now. The interim head coach, as everybody knows, we got rid of Matt Patricia and Bob Quinn. So now Darrell Bevell has taken over the reins, and we'll see what happens there. But let's start off with the injury report, guys. We'll start off with the Detroit Lions. We got Kenny Golladay with a hip. He is out, still hurt. Defensive lineman Deshaun Hand has a groin. He's out. Quarterback Jeff Okudah has a shoulder. He is out as well. Deandre Swift, he was going to be a game time decision, and they waited till about sometime after 12. He's out too. He's still concussed, just not feeling good. We also got Austin Bryant, our defensive end, with a thigh issue. He's questionable. He's limited practice on Friday, though. Stafford got the thumb, limited practice. He'll be going. Tracy Walker, a non-injury related. He did not practice on Friday, so we'll see what happens there. We also had guys like Danny Amendola, who's been hurt with a hip. Hunter Bryant, concussed. Quintus Cephas, not injury related again. Mike Ford, concussed. Christian Jones, he was limited practice, but he should be going. All those guys should be going. Amendola's back. Hunter Bryant, hopefully we get to see him too. The undrafted tight end out of Washington that I really liked coming out. And then those guys should be coming back. But we got guys like Danny Shelton, defensive tackle that we picked up from New England, and Desmond Trufant, who's back on the IR. So they called up Hunter Bryant, who's been practicing, and he's better. And I think they elevated Kevin Strong to the roster, but I don't think he's playing. Frank Herron back up, so he'll be in there too as well. So a lot of makeshift, a lot of stuff going on, a lot of injuries. So good luck, Darrell. Now with the Bears, we got offensive linebacker James Vaughter with a knee. He was out. Defensive tackle Akeem Hicks, who's been out with a hamstring. He's questionable, limited practice. I think he'll be playing today. Left tackle Charles Leno Jr. with a toe, questionable, limited practice. He'll probably be going. Offensive lineman German Ifedi with a leg, questionable, limited practice as well. Offensive linebacker Khalil Mack, he's been hurt all year kind of, but he's been playing. He's got a back thing going on, questionable, limited practice. Wide receiver Allen Robinson with a knee, questionable, limited practice. Wide receiver Darnell Mooney with a knee as well, questionable. He did not practice on Friday, so it's probably a game time decision. Then they got guys like offensive lineman Rashad Cower with a knee, safety Sherrick McManus with a hand. Outside linebacker Barkevius Mingo has a shoulder issue. Defensive tackle Brent Urban with an ankle and a hand, and inside linebacker Josh Woods with a foot. He was a full practice on Friday, but he's also questionable. Then they got guys like Roquan Smith, the star linebacker, and offensive lineman Alex Bars did not practice Friday, but they didn't have an injury designation on their on the injury report, so they'll probably a full go as well. Now this is the rematch, guys. You know, the NFC North, we play them twice. We play everybody in the NFC North twice a year, as everybody knows. Week 1, we lost to these guys 27-23 in a pretty hard-fought game. Lions seem to have control of that game for most part, and then Trubisky did his thing against Detroit. For some reason, he's a superstar against the Detroit Lions, and came back a little bit later in that game, in the second half, and scored a bunch of touchdowns. And then we all know what happened at the end there. Stafford drove them all the way down to the end, and our prize rookie Deandre Swift dropped the ball that was right in his hands with I think there was maybe 2 seconds left on the clock. Might have been no time on the clock, but I think there was a few seconds on the clock. Dropped the ball right in his hands. It would have been the game winner. I can't knock the kid for that, but we lost that game, and this is the rematch. Now we're 4-7 going in. They're 5-6. The Bears, they're probably fighting still for a playoff spot for that wild card. They've lost 5 in a row, I believe. The Chicago Bears, we're 4-7. We're not going to make the playoffs, but we're going to see how this Darrell Bevell team reacts to Patricia being fired. So, and with the new guy coming in, so I heard there's a lot of players are excited about it. A lot of players are happy that Patricia's gone. I don't I don't fault anybody for that. You know what I mean? It's all coming out that Patricia was just a bag of garbage to his players. So he wasn't a good guy. He just wasn't a good guy, and there's not too many guys backing him up right now. There's a couple guys, but I think Braden Combs is one of them, the special teams coordinator for Detroit. He's kind of the only one that I've really seen back him up. But we'll see how this Darrell Belleville reacts. This Darrell Belleville team reacts. But anyways, guys, we'll go to the team rankings really fast. Offense and defense. We'll start with the Lions first with their offense. Yards a game, 347 yards a game, puts them at 20th. They rush for 96.6, puts them at 27th. They pass 250.4, puts them at 13th. They score 22.9, puts them at 22nd. So nothing too good. The pass offense is looking okay. Top 13. That's all right. You know what I mean? That's the top half. So I like that. With their defense, 396.2 yards a game they give up. So puts them at 29th. They give up 133.4 yards on the ground, puts them at 28th. They give up 262.8 points through the air, puts them at 26th. And points against, 29.8, puts them at 31st. So their defense is pure garbage. There's not really too much to say about that, right? Guys, it's just that their defense is just hot trash. Pure hot trash. So we'll go to the Bears, guys, for their offense, and their offense is terrible. But yards per game, 305.5 yards, puts them at 31st. They only rush for 82.2, puts them at 32nd in the league, bottom of the barrel, worst. Their pass offense, 223.3, puts them at 23rd. And points, they only score 19.6 points a game, which puts them at 29th. So just like we have a terrible, terrible defense, they have a terrible, terrible offense. But we all can see what's going to happen here. And now their defense is a whole other story. This team is literally one quarterback away from being a legitimate playoff Super Bowl contender, I think. If they had a quarterback, it would be scary. This team would be scary. But yards per game, they only give up 344.9, puts them at 13th in the league. They only give up 121.2 on the ground, puts them at 20th. Their passing defense is stellar. They give up 223.7 yards through the air, puts them at 11. And points, you don't score on them. They only give up 22.7 points, and puts them at top 10 at 8th overall. So their defense is lights out. They have a really good defense, solid all around. You can run on them a little bit, but you got to have running backs to do it. So that's a whole other story, right? That's a whole other story. Now let's start off with the quarterbacks and our little matchup analysis. You know who we got, guys? Matt Stafford, number 9, versus their guy. Mitch Trubisky's back behind center now. Nick Foles is a little bit banged up, but I think he's going to be ready to go. I think he's good to go, but he won't be in there just yet. But who knows what's going on with Nagy? He could yank him, but Trubisky owns the Detroit Lions. Literally owns them. So, but better quarterback, I'm going to go with Matt Stafford. He gets the check mark from me. He's better than Trubisky or Nick Foles. So if I had to pick anybody, I'm picking Matt Stafford there. Now the running backs, guys, we got Kerryon Johnson, Adrian Peterson, Jonathan Williams, and Jason Kabinda, the fullback. Versus their guys, David Montgomery. He's a pretty solid, underrated running back. Nothing special, but he gets the job done. They got Cordell Patterson, who's kind of that utility guy, wide receiver / running back. And then they got Ryan Nall, who's more of a pass-catching guy. He doesn't really do anything on the ground. But he's a good blocker. So, that's how they kind of use him, through the air and blocking. But I'm going to give the check mark just slightly to the Chicago Bears here. I think David Montgomery versus Kerryon Johnson pretty much, or Adrian Peterson. I take Montgomery in that situation. And Cordell Patterson's kind of that utility guy, special teams ace, who gets the job done. You know what I mean? So I'm going to give the check mark to Chicago Bears there in that running back room. Now, And we also have Deandre Swift out. So, there'd be a different story if Swift was in. I'd probably give it to Detroit Lions. But the wide receivers, Marvin Jones, Danny Amendola is back from injury. Mohamed Sanu, Quintus Cephas, Jamal Agnew. No, we got Galladay out. They just released Marvin Jones Jr. Marvin Hall. Sorry, they just released Marvin Hall a couple days ago. A lot of people acting like Marvin Hall was Terrell Owens. Like it's just Lions fans, man. Lions fans are just they're special. It's a special breed. We are. We really can't. We can't like. We can never let go. We can never forget. You know what I mean? Like it's Marvin Hall, man. The guy's a number 4, number 5 on any other team in the NFL. People freak out over it. Okay. I think they want to see this Cephas kid, this Quintez Cephas kid. No, he's not Marvin Hall. He doesn't have the speed of Marvin Hall, but I bet you he's a better wide receiver. Yeah, I'll put money on it. But they want to see what this kid's got. They released Marvin Hall. Lions fans, everybody get over it. It's okay. It's all right. Okay? But I'll go to their guys. Allen Robinson, really good wide receiver. Darnell Mooney, solid. Anthony Miller, good. Cordell Patterson, kind of utility, like I said. And then Javon Wims. I'm going to give the check mark to the Chicago Bears here because I think Allen Robinson and Darnell Mooney are better than anything we really have over there. Maybe with Kenny Galladay it would be a different story, but Kenny Galladay is out again. So that guy just keeps losing money more and more, eh? I don't think he even wants to play in Detroit anyway, but he's losing money rapidly. So either his hip is really bad or he just doesn't want nothing to do with his organization. And I think it's B. I don't think he wants anything to do with us. So I'm going to give the check mark to the Chicago Bears there. Now on to the tight ends, guys. We got Hawkinson, Jesse James, and then we got Hunter Bryant, who's activated. This is the kid that I've wanted to see all year. Kid out of Washington, former Husky. He's a threat through the air. He's not much of a blocker, but I really want to see this kid. He's another reason why Marvin Hall could have got released too, because they want to see this Hunter Bryant kid in action. They could turn this kid into a wide receiver, Hunter Bryant. You never know. He doesn't have lights out speed or anything like that, but he's a big body, runs good routes, good hands. So you never know. And I think he's really good through the air, man. He's gonna be a good weapon for Detroit for years to come. Hopefully this kid can latch on. Now their guys, Jimmy Graham, their rookie Cole Kmet from Notre Dame, and then they got a guy Demetrius Harris. I'm gonna give the check mark to the Detroit Lions here. I think Hawkinson's better than anything they got over there. And I like Jesse James blocking. And Hunter Bryant I'm really high on. So I'm going to give the check mark to the Detroit Lions here. Now on to the O-line, guys. Left tackle for us, Taylor Decker. Left guard, Jonah Jackson. Center, Frank Ragnow. Right guard, I think Logan Stenberg's going today. That's what OurLads.com had. I think he started last week. I'm not 100% who started at right guard. I'm not 100%. But they had Logan Stenberg in there today. So who knows? Right tackle, Tyrell Crosby. Versus their guys, Charles Leno Jr. at left tackle, Cody Whitehair at left guard. Their center, Sam Mustipher. And right guard, Jermon Iafetti at right guard, yes, like I said. And then right tackle, Rashad Coward at right tackle. So I'm going to give the check mark just slightly to the Detroit Lions. I just think they have a better O-line. And yeah, it's just I think Decker and Jackson and especially Ragnow, especially Decker though, he's having a really good year, man. That guy deserves to be an All-Pro. I think he probably won't make All-Pro, but he should make the Pro Bowl at least. I'm not big on the Pro Bowl, but I think he'll make the Pro Bowl at least. And then Jonah Jackson's been an awesome addition at left guard for us, and then Ragnow's a top 10 center. He's struggled a little bit this year. He's kind of had ups and downs, but he's been all around pretty good. And I just I like their O-line a little bit better. So I'm going to give the check mark to the Detroit Lions here. Now on to the defense, guys. On to the defense. We'll start off with the D-line. All right, guys, we have absolutely zero depth. Romeo Akwara, defensive end. Everson Griffin, the other end. Jonathan Penasini, defensive tackle. Nick Williams And then I'm not sure. I think Kevin Strong might have got designated back to the practice squad, or he got called up. I'm not sure. But Frank Herron's back up because Shelton went on IR. So we just have no depth, man. We got no depth. It's just like we got 4 or 5 guys. That's like I don't know how you can succeed in the NFL like that. How? Versus their guys, Khalil Mack, Akeem Hicks, their stud defensive tackle who's back, Barkevius Mingo, Belial Nichols, Brent Urban, big kid. That Brent Urban kid. That kid's just a big boy. Robert Quinn Jr., defensive end, Mary Edwards Jr., another guy. And then John Jenkins. I'm giving the check mark to the Chicago Bears there because I think they have a really good unit. They have a really good, strong defensive line, especially with Khalil Mack and then Hakeem Hicks back. So they got some guys that can get to the quarterback like Robert Quinn, Mary Edwards Jr. You know what I mean? They can get to the quarterback. Now on to the linebackers, guys. You know, we got Jamie Collins Sr., Reggie Ragland, Christian Jones, Jared Davis, Jelani Tavai, Miles Killebrew, and Jalen Reeves-Maven, who are mostly special teams guys. So versus their guys, they don't have much depth at linebacker either, guys. Roquan Smith, and then Danny Trevathan, Joel Iligbonowe. I don't know if I said that name right, and then Josh Woods. But I'm gonna give the check mark to the Chicago Bears here because I like Roquan Smith and Danny Trevathan. Those guys are too good. They're playmaking linebackers that they're all over the field, man. Roquan Smith can do it all. Trevathan's good. He's a hard hitter, but I like their core. Even though their core is a little bit small, and I just like the way they play. They're ferocious, man. They got a tenacity that's just unheard of. So now to the DBs, guys. Tracy Walker for us, Deron Harmon, Jaron Curse, Amani Oruwariye, Will Harris, Daryl Roberts, Justin Coleman, TJ Moore, special teams guy, and then Mike Ford, who's back from a concussion. Versus their guys, Eddie Jackson, good safety, really good safety. Buster Screen, Tayshaun Gibson Sr., another good safety. Kyle Fuller, another good corner. Jalen Johnson, promising rookie out of Utah. And DeAndre Houston Carson and Deion Bush, I'm giving the check mark all across the board to the Chicago Bears here. Their defense is pretty good. They have a really good secondary, guys. Really good secondary. So Stafford, even though he had a lot of success in week 1 versus this same unit, it's going to be a little bit different, I think. I don't know, because the offense has struggled. So, and Stafford has struggled. So, like their whole offense has struggled. We've getting beat up the last 2 weeks too. So, I think it's going to be tough against this secondary. The Chicago Bears got a really good secondary, especially Eddie Jackson. They got studs all across the board, man, on this defense. They do. But how we're going to beat this team, guys? No. This is going to be a tough game. We're going to have to, it's the same thing every week, man. It's the same thing every week. You got to run the ball. One thing you can do against this defense in Chicago, you can kind of run against them. You know what I mean? They give up 121 yards on the ground, 121 plus on the ground. We'll put them at 20th in the league. So it's not a bad run defense. It's not great though. You know what I mean? So you're going to have trouble passing against them. You're going to have trouble scoring points. You're going to have to score about 25 points to beat this team, at least. And I just don't see the Lions doing it. But offensively, they got to try and run the ball. You got to try and protect Stafford. Our wide receivers got to get open. Somehow they got to find a way to get open. You got to use Hawkinson a little bit more. Marvin Jones needs to have a day. He's in tough against Kyle Fuller, real tough. That whole wide receiving core is in tough, man. Because that secondary don't play, man, in Chicago. And then defensively, you just got to try to contain Trubisky. He loves to run around. He's a wild child. He throws anywhere. He's very inconsistent, but he owns the Detroit Lions. So what you got to do is, man, you got to try and get your hands up on the guy. Bop him around, man. Hit him. Just do what you can. Try to contain Allen Robinson. Try to contain David Montgomery. if you can contain those guys, then you have a shot, right? You legitimately have a shot. But we can't defensively as a unit. We can't stop anybody. It could be a different story today, man, because they got a big all kinds of weight off their shoulders. You could see this team, as Daryl Belva said, he's going to let his guys play with their hair down, play wild, play free with their hair on fire. So, and they're going to go have fun. So, when I hear something like that, that's a shot at Patricia. Okay, that's a shot at Patricia. Kind of going off the rails here, but that's okay. I don't think it was an intentional shot, like talking bad about him or anything like that, but it just goes to show you what Patricia was doing over there. Yes, it's a business, okay? The NFL is a business, obviously. Some guys run it differently. Some coaches are different. Some coaches are players coaches. Some guys are just all business. Patricia was all business. That's what he is. It seems like that doesn't work. I don't think that way works in the NFL anymore. I really don't, man. Unless you have just a really strong team. You have to have a really strong team within itself for that to succeed, I think. I think today's society and with today's players and all that, you need a player's coach. You need a guy, that just you can talk to, a coach that you can talk to, shoot the bull with, all that stuff, not just straight business, and then just the way Patricia did his duties, it seems like he had everybody on lock. He had everybody on lockdown, and he was like, we're not going to have fun. This is just a business. We're here just to win, and that's fine. Just win. Of course. But you have to have everybody on board, man. Over 2.5 years, you had nobody on board, man. You had a couple guys on board, I guess, here and there. But if you don't have everybody in the locker room on board, all it takes is one bad apple, man. And I'm not even saying the players is the bad apple. I'm just saying Patricia was probably the bad apple. You know what I mean? And I'm not saying his way is bad or anything like that. It's just the way it is. It doesn't work, I don't think. And obviously it didn't work. The guy's gone. You know what I mean? You win 13 games in over 2.5 years. You didn't even reach 3 years, bro. You know what I mean? And you're already gone. So your way didn't work. Bevel, I think he's going to change it up. I think he's going to have more fun. Let his guys, like he said, play with their hair down, play on fire, get after people. So it's going to be interesting to see. I would love to see what they do today. So, but this is a late video, guys. I'm going to predict a 23-20 Bears victory. Sorry, guys. That's what it is. That's what it is, guys. I don't know what's going to happen. So we're going to go back and forth with this. I don't know what this Daryl Bevell team is going to look like. So this is what it's all about. But like I said, guys, try to stop the run a little bit. Try to stop the run. Contain Allen Robinson. Get to Trubisky. He's not a good quarterback. He has owned you guys forever. Last 4 games, I think it is. 4 or 5 games. I can't remember. But he owns Detroit. So you got to get to him. Contain him. Stop making him look like Joe Montana because he's not. Okay? Let's go. And then on the offensive side of the ball, man, you just need help from your wide receivers. Protect Stafford and try to establish a run game. I don't know. It's going to be tough. The one thing you can do against Chicago, you can kind of run on them. So you're gonna have to feed KJ, feed Peterson, try to get Jonathan Williams involved again, even though he fumbled last week. Just get him involved. All right, guys. So 23-20 victory, Chicago Bears. Hopefully, it's not the outcome, but that's what I'm feeling. All right, guys. Don't forget to hit that subscribe button on the bottom right. Don't forget to hit that bell. Hit that all button, get all my notifications for all my videos, and like and comment the video. That's what it's all about. Negative, positive, it's all good, man. I'll try to get back to you guys, man. But let's go, man. Go Lions. Boom.